So Fairy Tail, as we all know, has 3 different types of Slayer magics that are all technically lost magics that no one truly uses anymore, outside of the multiple people that we've seen using these abilities. But I've already covered Dragon Slayer magic, and I have covered God Slayer magic at this point as well. So today I'm going to talk about the final one that we were introduced to chronologically, and that is Devil Slayer magic, or Demon Slayer magic, depending on the translation, but Devil Slayer sounds a lot cooler. But what makes this one interesting in comparison to the others is that we've only seen about 2 people use this ability, and both of which are from the exact same family. I'm of course talking about Grey Fullbuster, one of the main characters, and his father, Silver Fullbuster, who was brought back to life as a zombie technically controlled by Keys, who is a necromancer from Tartarus. Whole big thing, but that's something I'll talk about in a different video at some point. But before we dive into this really cool ability, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. At this point, I would have covered all of the Slayer types, so this is uncharted territory because now there is a lot of different magic abilities that I will want to go over. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into things. But before we get started, this video was brought to you by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. Have you ever wanted to try some nice Japanese snacks in the comfort of your own home? Well, Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. are for you. With just a few bites of these snacks, you'll feel like you're in the land of the rising sun every day. Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. are both monthly boxes with their own distinct themes. Tokyo Treat is a monthly Japanese pop snack box where you can get up to 20 exclusive limited edition and seasonal flavored Japanese snacks, including Japanese instant ramen and various drinks. And each of these items are only available in Japan for a limited time. And Sakura Co. is a monthly Japanese artisan snack box that supports local Japanese snack makers. Each box ends up coming with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese teas and a traditional Japanese tableware. Each box has its own theme. For Tokyo Treat, its theme is the Ninja Snack Venture. Adventure to Japan's elusive and mysterious world of ninjas with this month's Tokyo Treat box, as it's packed full of sneaky surprises and savory and sweet ninja-inspired treats, where you can explore the thrilling history and hidden flavors only found in this month's box. Some snacks that I highly recommend are the Kit Kat Chocolate Orange, the Spicy Ramen Noodles, and the Katana Candy Sword, as well as Strawberry Dorayaki and the Gold Nebuto Fresh Apple Juice, with the Orange Chocolate Kit Kat Bar and the grape-flavored Ninja Heart Gummies being my own personal favorites. If you want to learn more about the different snacks and the variety within this box, as well as all the different histories of ninjas, as well as fun facts, check out the booklet that is included within, as there is a lot of very interesting information to be found within this box. And the theme for Sakura Co. is the flavors of Hakano, which for this month, Sakura Co. has partnered with the Kanagawa Prefectural Government for a limited edition specially designed box inspired by tranquil lake shores and therapeutic waters of Hakano, where they invite you to discover Kanagawa's breathtaking natural beauty and indulge in authentic and local flavors that reflect the region's rich culinary heritage. This box includes many delicious snacks such as the White Miso Financier, the Yokohama Chocolate Crunch, strawberry milk almonds, and many, many more. But my own personal recommendations and favorites are the Yokohama Chocolate Crunch, the Yokohama Milk Cookies, as well as the Surano no Sato Marshmallow. All these are very delicious and they all pair very well with the Hakano Story Green Tea, as it really enhances the flavor. And this month's tableware, presented to us by Sakura Co., is the Marquetry Plate. If you want to know more about all the different variety of snacks and this very beautiful looking tableware, as well as the area in general and the process of these different snack makers, check out the booklet that comes with this box. The information here is incredibly useful and very informative, as I greatly appreciate what I'm eating and what I've received from this beautiful looking box. So if you want to get a taste of the land of the rising sun, or want to present this to someone you care about as a gift, use the code GreekWeeb to get $5 off your first box of Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. using the links in the description down below. Thanks again to Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co. for sponsoring this video, and now back to the video. Now, Devil Slayer magic is similar to Dragon and God Slayer magic, as in they not only give people elemental type affinities and powers to use, but they are also essentially highly resistant to said abilities and can also devour the elements that they have in order to gain power and replenish their energies. And obviously, by the namesake, they are used to slay demons. Similar to how Dragon Slayers slay dragons, God Slayers slay gods, you get the deal. Very simple, very effective, not much else to dive into with the name. And like all the other Slayer types, they can't devour the element that they themselves end up generating. So even if characters like Grey create ice, he can't devour his own ice in order to replenish his power because he technically already wasted it. And like the other Slayer types, it's an ancient spell and is a form of lost magic and caster type magic that allows them to, well, cast spells. And it's a type of magic that not many people really use. You can only really find it if you read it in books somewhere, which is actually how Silver initially came across this type of magic ability, so that he could slay the demons of Tartarus and eventually slay END, who is said to be the strongest demon that Xerath ever created. But what makes this a lot more, how should I put this, viable and useful in comparison to the other Slayer types is that with Devil Slayer magic, the magic from this actually allows the user to obtain information of demons just by looking at them. And this also encompasses abilities like curses and curse magic. In the fairy tale world, curses and magic are two entirely separate power systems that don't operate the exact same way. But with Devil Slayer magic, they are more or less able to gain information just by looking at these curses and magical curses from demons, essentially. So that's already huge points to this ability, being able to instantly understand the abilities and power level, essentially, of the enemy you face is already incredibly useful in any type of battle. And since these types of Slayers are essentially exorcists, they are basically able to kill or exorcise demonic beings or demonic powers from others. So this actually puts it up for an interesting dynamic if you want to put, let's say, Grey up against Mira Jane for a versus battle, because while she does have this thing called Demon Takeover magic, she is essentially getting the powers of a demon. And with Grey's abilities, Devil Slayer magic can essentially exercise those abilities out from Mira, thus giving him an entirely big advantage over anybody that could potentially use a demon's powers. And this could also allow him to essentially easily kill or have an easy advantage in terms of a fight against any demon he faces. So instantly a lot more viable. You get the information just by looking at your targets that are either demons or use demonic abilities or magic, and you can essentially either kill demons incredibly easily with enough power, or exercise demonic powers or stop demons type spells from mages, essentially, whenever you come across them. You have a very high efficient ability right there in itself. And at the moment there doesn't seem to be a categorization on what essentially can work with demons and what can't. And also, I'm just going to say this flat out, we actually have seen proof in the mainline story before the final arc that a Devil Slayer can kill a demon, as we've seen with Grey taking down Mordgear, which already gives the one time Grey has actually used this Devil Slayer magic to fight what he's meant to slay with this type of magic, a better track record than the other Dragon Slayers that are said to be around his power of strength during Tartarus. So that says a lot about how efficient this is in considering it against Dragon Slayer magic at this point in time. Obviously later down the road, the characters are going to be able to slay dragons, but as of right now, Grey has a better track record with Devil Slayer magic slaying the actual demons that he is supposed to slay with these abilities, so goes to show how much more cost effective either is. But that's just my personal opinion out of what we've seen from the story so far. Now then, let's get into an actual drawback that is actually very noticeable with Devil Slayer magic, and that is excessive use of this Slayer magic can actually turn the user into an actual demon through demonization, similar to how Dragon Slayers over time could end up becoming dragons through dragonification. Now, like Dragon Slayers, they will eventually have a change in physical appearance. With Devil Slayers, they essentially get these black markings spread all across their entire body. And as seen with Grey, it can cover up roughly half of them, even changing the color of their eye from the afflicted side of the body at its peak performance when you are using it for way too much. Now, while this is a drawback, this actually ends up being very viable in battles against demons, because if these dark markings end up encompassing your body, it actually improves your immunity to curses and curse magic, as seen when Grey essentially survived Mordgear's ultimate curse, Memento Mori, which is supposed to completely annihilate whatever it touches. So this let Grey tank a curse that is meant to literally erase anything that comes in contact with it, which showcases the level of immunity Devil Slayers have to curses and just demon magic in general. So even if you don't want to be demonized, it is still incredibly likely that you would want to get demonized a little bit, so you can be immune to whatever powerful demon you end up coming across, because it will in fact save your life one day. Now back to the drawbacks of demonization. Basically, with how this magic works, learning it too quickly and making use of it in rapid succession can have very bad side effects on the body, and it can even affect the soul as well, seemingly being stated to taint the soul of the Demon Slayer, which can end up leading the user to progressively lose their sanity making them more irrational and demon-like throughout the course of their lives if they don't take the time to slowly learn how to utilize it. Learning it too fast will end up being incredibly bad, as seen by how Gray was immediately starting to demonize in the fight against Marred Gear. And while this is a huge drawback, as we've seen post the time skip leading into Alvarez, Gray spent that whole year progressively learning about its abilities and slowly starting to master them, to the point where he could actually use an advanced technique where he can actually make these black markings appear on his body whenever he wants to, on small degrees, or just full on half of his body whenever he feels like it. This not only gives him the benefits of increased magical power for slaying demons, but it also gives him immunity to curses a lot more proficiently and gives him immense physical strength and speed boosts. This is more or less like a pseudo-Dragon Force for Devil Slayers in this series, and Gray has used it in a variety of different occasions. Now, something interesting about this type of magic is that, like Dragon Slayers, it can be taught. However, with Gray, it's actually a unique type of scenario where Gray's father, as he was dying, essentially gifted and passed down this power to Gray, showcasing that unlike the other types, while yes, you can learn about it in books if you manage to find it in some crevice of a library or ancient grimoire, you can actually give your demon slaying abilities to somebody you deem could utilize them better, as what Silver did with Gray. And this is symbolized, showcasing that Gray is a Devil Slayer with a really cool black tattoo on his right arm, which I wouldn't be surprised if the black markings start through there and then make their way throughout his entire body whenever he enters his demonized state for enhanced speed, strength, skill, and magical powers. Now, as I stated earlier, we've only seen Gray and his father use this type of magic, so the only Devil Slayer type attribute that we've seen in this story is Ice Devil magic. However, since Gray is actually the perfect person to use it, he actually mixes his Ice Slayer powers with his regular Ice Make abilities, giving him basically the perfect toolkit and really great imaginative thinking for how to utilize this new abilities. Now, one thing I wanted to note about specific attacks is that so far it doesn't seem like Devil Slayers have like secret arts like Dragon Slayers do, or particular names for their abilities outside of like Demon's Rage, which is like another roaring blast attack that Dragon Slayers and God Slayers use, which is another thing that they all seemingly have in common. And we didn't fully see too many specific abilities to Devil Slayers, as more or less it is just Gray using his ice powers infused with Devil Slayer magic. As with Silver, we've seen just 3 specific Ice Devil spells, which is Ice Devil's Shiver, Ice Devil's Laughter, and Ice Devil's Rage, which, like I stated, was a breath attack, and the rest are just magical ice-based attacks of launching ice. There's also exclusive abilities used in the video games, like Fallen Ice 100 Demons Dance, or Ice Devil's Resentment, Ice Devil's Fang, but these are just game-type abilities. We can treat them as canon if we want to, which just adds more to the toolkit. Now, one last thing I want to add into this is actually the potential of this magical ability, because there is a feat that Silver did before he encountered Gray, which is honestly incredible, which is with his Devil Slayer magic, he was actually able to not only freeze an entire village of giants, but he was also able to freeze a literal dragon, the last embers of Atlas Flame, the Hellfire Dragon. Now, this didn't kill or slay Atlas Flame, but what this did was actually affect a dragon that, in its prime, which was during the Eclipse arc, Natsu didn't really do too much with it, instead ended up teaming up with him. But this showcases that with this ability, Gray could actually affect dragons. Why this hasn't been done in 100 Years Quest yet, I have no idea. This could change within the upcoming arcs, but just food for thought. Now, as for the origins of Devil Slayer magic, not much else can be said. It could just be some very crafty mage ended up creating it after discovering what Dragon Slayer magic was, and ended up utilizing that to fight off demons, since thanks to Zeref, a bunch of demons and stuff like that were throughout the world, so it's very likely that this was created as a backup contingency plan for demons, but got lost to time, as with Tartarus existing, they probably just faded into the background for reasons. But that's everything you need to know about Devil Slayer magic. For a better understanding of it, what's your favorite move that you've seen use with this magic? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel, and shows you want to see more. And with all said and done, hope you all have an awesome day.